On June 25th, 2011, this was me. I don't know if you can tell, but there's 13 people in that photograph. I'm not talking about 13 people in the back. I'm talking about 13 people in the front. That's my wife, that's my son, and that's me. And there's about 10 bowling balls in that photo that shouldn't be there, but they were there. And in 2011, I heard a fact that changed my life. What I heard was that if you are obese, the likelihood of your child being obese increases by 50%. Let me say that again. If you are obese, the likelihood of your child being obese increases by 50%. Now, I knew something had to change. Every New Year's, I made resolutions. I don't know about you, but my New Year's resolution for as long as I could remember was, this is the year that I'm going to lose weight. This is the year I'm going to get to the gym. This is the year I'm going to eat right. And this is the year I'm going to be the very best person that I could be. And every single year, it was the same New Year's resolution again. And I couldn't figure out why was it that I would make the same resolution and I would break it. But this year, I knew that something had to change. I knew that this year, it couldn't be the same. Because it wasn't just about me and my decision. It was about how my decision was having a negative impact on my son's life. I knew why I needed to change, but I didn't know how I could make that change. And then it happened. I saw a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and I found my how. It was a story about an ordinary man named Joe Cross who decided that he would change his life by going on a 60-day juice fast, and he would lose weight. And as I watched Joe struggle day in and day out with his weight loss and his journey, I began to sympathize, and even better, I began to empathize because I knew what he was going through. I struggled with my weight my entire life. And I knew in my head that I should be able to do this. I should be able to figure this out. And I have to do it. There's no longer an option. I need to make this happen. So I decided that I was going to do a 7-day juice fast. And this is not all 7 days. This is 1 day's worth of juice. So I started my juice fast. And I knew that my journey had begun. And I started with day 1. And day 1, I felt great. I had so much energy. I was full of adrenaline. I was calling up people I knew and being like, I'm doing a juice fast. This is amazing. You should do it. And many of them hung up the phone on me. And day 1 passed. And then day 2, I started to get a little cranky. And my wife is somewhere here. She can tell you all about that. It was not good. And day 3, and then day 4. When day 4 rolled around, I was curled up in bed, sleeping, and I wanted nothing to do more than quit. I was done. I had enough. I couldn't do this. This was so hard. And what was I thinking? Who drinks juice? Only juice. I mean, this is crazy, right? What am I doing? So day 4 rolled around, but I knew I had to push through. And I knew that if I could just get to day 7, something would change. Because everything told me that something would change for the better. And then it happened. I hit day 7. And I had this moment of clarity. I like to call it my moment of clarity. My doctor, who's here, he called it, I believe, processing ketones. But whatever it is you want to call it, I knew that my life was changed, and I knew that everything was different from that point on. I was changing my life through habits, big and small. And see, once I got to 7 days, it wasn't so hard. I was then able to get to 14, and from 14, I got to 30. And from 30, I got to 45, and from 45, I got to 60, and from 60, I got to 63 days of an all-juice fast. And it changed my life. Now, you might be wondering, right before I tell you how it changed my life, let me tell you something. What does 63 days of a juice fast look like? So this is what it looked like. And in 63 days, I juiced over 500 pounds of vegetables and fruits. And I drank 189 glasses of juice, and just juice. And it didn't all look as delicious as this right here. I'll tell you. But I'll tell you this, in the 15 months that followed, I knew that I was now making the right choices and taking the right decisions. And each day it became easier. I moved it from being what I like to call a nurtured habit to a natural habit. I didn't have to think about it anymore. It just became automatic. And in 15 months, I lost and kept off nearly 100 pounds. I started going to the gym regularly. I still go 3 times a week. For me, that's a big deal. I don't go to the gym. It's just the place I drive by on the way to work. I began to exercise regularly. I began to incorporate good habits into my life. My body started to autocorrect. I started waking up earlier in the morning. I started implementing positive habits in my life. And I knew that things had now changed. There was a momental shift in my life. And I'm telling you, I'm not that different than you or me. I struggled with this my entire life. So I was on autopilot. And I'm not going to lie to you, I had lapses. It was not smooth sailing and easy. In those 15 months, there's so many times that I fell off the track. But what got me back on were three things. One, I was personally accountable to myself and to nobody else. It's very important. Number two, I understood that I had a greater responsibility to myself, my family, and those around me. And number three, I wanted to give my son better odds, odds that I didn't have. So I'm not here to tell you how this ends. I'm here to tell you how it began for me and how my life was changed positively by implementing small and large habits throughout my life and over 15 months being able to sustain that. But I will say this, I now own the responsibility for my health. And I now own those decisions every day that make my life better. And I'll ask you one thing. I'll tell you that you don't have to wait a single minute to start making positive decisions in your life to improve it and improve the life of your family around you. And remember, it is not about the juice. It is about the journey and the influence that I had on my son. I'll show you a quick video.
And what are you doing, Bida?
Push it, push it.
I'm juicing.
What kind of juice are you making?
I make tomato juice.
And now you're going to make carrot juice. Drop it in. Drop it in. Thank you.